It's the OCG Fam Show. Viewer Questions with Scott, Part 2. Hey there! Bob from Oregon's Constant Gardener. Welcome to the OCG Fam Show. Happy Monday to you, my YouTube buddies. What's going on in your grow? Let me know in the comments and we'll talk about that after the show. But right now, let's just get right into the show because we got Part 2 of the Viewer Questions coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun. So watch this and I'll see you tomorrow.
Jay King. Hey, Bob. Week 6, everything was going great. Not one issue. Now, after my last feeding, I have hard clawing. Edges of leaves are cannibalizing and sugar leaves curled. I figured out my pH meter was way out of calibration and I assumed sent them right at a lockout. Should I just go ahead and flush ASAP with corrected pH, even though the soil is still wet and usually wouldn't water for another 4 days? And what's your rule of thumb on how often to calibrate your meters?
Well,
Keep up the
now,
good work.
every day.
Every
time you use it, because that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, I'm sorry to hear that you had a pen issue, because now you'll never trust a pen again. Believe me, you're talking to a guy who has 6 pens. Because one pen goes to hell, and then you calibrate it, and it seems on point, and then you test it against another one. We've gone down this road 100 times. So, to answer the original question on the...
It's locked out, probably.
Well, I mean, I'd like to know what the actual slurries and stuff are and see where you're at. But what you'd want to do is a lot of people want to overreact. Let's say your slurry comes at 5.7. They're like, well, I need to get it up to 6.4, so I'm going to hit them with a 7.8. It's not good. It's not good for your microbes. It's not good for your fungus bodies. It's just not a healthy way to raise that pH up. So if you're at 5.8 and you need to get up to the 6.4, I recommend like 6.5, 6.6 feedings, but I don't let a lot of it run out. I kind of create a saturation, so it's buffering that acid in the soil slowly and gently so the microbes can acclimate to the pH change versus just hammering it with a higher pH.
So when he doesn't know factually that he's out of whack, he just assumes he is because the mix he put in there was out of whack. So, I mean, he hasn't slurry tested.
Yeah,
it almost certainly is the case.
Well, I mean, if you went beautiful, and then one day you come in and shit's cooked, that usually means the pH went totally awry, or you triple mix the nutrient batch, and so it's one or the other.
So, in theory, though, when he mixed this, he was like, I'm not getting it, and he's putting more and more and more, less and less and less in to get his pH right, and it should have triggered a warning maybe that if you're mixing it differently, suddenly maybe something's going on.
Well, that's what notes are so handy, is that if I know that the last 3 weeks I've been adding in 1 teaspoon to adjust my pH to 6.4 and all of a sudden I have to use 7, something's wrong with something. So I'm going to kind of start investigating. At minimally once a week, always test your meters because it's such a... Yeah, it takes 5 minutes, but at the end it saves you a whole room of mad ladies that are sitting there with curled up tips. But generally, slowly bring that pH up over the next few feedings before you just hammer them with a high pH or low pH, whatever you have to do. Just don't go to the extreme opposite end.
Good answer. Spanky McNutley.
That's a name.
The feeding schedule says, Guy.
I didn't know you, Bob. I didn't even say that would work for you. Like if I had was a web show.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it's Spanky McNutley.
Hey there, Spanky McNutley. Welcome to the OCG Fam Show to you, my YouTube buddies. What's going on? Let me know in the comments. Hey, Spanky. Feeding the schedules. The
little rascal, Spanky.
Yeah, there was Spanky and buckwheat and alfalfa.
Yeah. Spanky.
And Darla.
Oh, Darla.
Okay.
All right, then.
The feeding schedule says Gaia, Medusas, and Zeus for clones. Okay, now this is a good question because you look at there's the one where it says clone.
Seedling clones.
Okay.
Seedlings
it says,
and
can I
clones
put those in a turbo cloner or will it gunk up the pump and sprayers?
Absolutely not.
So this is for when they're actually in the ground, right?
No, he's saying aero cloner is like an easy cloner mystery. If you put all those in there,
not good.
And they don't have roots, so they don't need the nutrition where they can't absorb them yet.
So when you look at the feeding chart and it says clone,
that means you planted them in the ground and it's a seedling or a clone in soil.
In the little Dixie cup or in the actual soil?
It has roots, it has foliage, and it's in a medium and you're not actively trying to make clones.
Right.
This is I'm already a clone, I'm now a plant, feed me. That's the seedling and clone section.
That should be more clear on the chart.
Well, that's where we put seedling and clone together, because you wouldn't put a seedling
Oh.
in an arrow cloner. It didn't say cloner. Not that that's a bad question.
No, it is. It's a great question.
I get it
Yeah.
a lot of times, but no, we don't make a cloning solution. We would use SLF and maybe a mild hormone like KLN or Easy Clone or Clone X or one of the brands.
But SLF,
I like SLF. I find that.
for its cleaning properties or for its properties beyond that?
Well, if you can imagine, you have a fresh cut that's got all these broken cell wounds, and you have this bacteria sitting there digesting the broken cells so they don't rot and become fungal on the cutting. Keeps that crisp so the roots can form better. So I like it as a root cleaning product in a cloner because it keeps things from rotting in the cloner. Off label.
Smart thinking. Off label. Yeah. Your results may vary.
All results vary.
Black phase. Hey Bob, I have a question. My water out of the faucet is 195 ppm with a 7.8 pH.
Iron.
When I do my slurry test, do I subtract 195 ppm from the ppm that I get from my slurry test to get an actual ppm in the soil? Also, I feed in water and slurry at 6.4, and my test it comes out to 6.8. How long until the Hades down starts changing the pH in my soil? Let's start at the start there, work our way through. I think I might have the super flu. A little bit of a runny nose.
Super flu?
Yeah, it's super. It
The
comes from
fuck
China.
You're standing next to me if you got some super
Well, I just
flu.
didn't realize till just now. My eye itches a little bit
Have you
right
been
there.
to China? Have you eaten any bats or any kind of living rat or anything? Do you
No.
take the baby pinky mice and dip them in au jus and just eat them living?
It's really just a little bit of runniness in my
You
nose.
probably have a cold.
Probably more likely a cold than the super flu.
Yeah, I'm getting, because if you have the super flu, then you better grow eyes in the back of your head because I'm coming for you. You'll be the first person I eliminate.
Fair enough.
All right, so let's go. What? Super flu. So the hard part, I'm guessing you have iron in your water if you're at that pH and that ppm. If you have red toilets, then you've got some iron. I mean 195. You don't necessarily. What I always do is I reference the number. I don't subtract the number because there'll be a chemical reaction when you're adding the two together.
Not unlike when you're feeding with that same water. It's kind
Exactly.
of part of the mix. to
Yeah,
some
because I
extent.
can get 195 down by just hitting it with an acid or a base.
Yeah.
I mean, we can reduce those numbers. So I just make sure I reference it. So if you're at 195 and you add it in and your slurry comes back at 600, you're probably closer to like the 480 to 500. But I also know that you're.
Yeah.
But if it comes back at 210 and they're all yellow, then I know they're starving.
Okay.
Because you start at 195 and there's nothing for it to react in. So, but if you have a lot of stuff reacting, that number will vary because of the reaction of whatever elements are in the soil. Ideally, if you have water that's outside of that 100 parts per million, you might want to just get some spring or distilled or RO water to not
For your
RO,
test.
but for just slurring.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hurt to just have a bottle of like spring water from the store with a starting number. But if you can get that a little bit lower.
So better to go get some water than to use that water.
It's just
Yeah,
not
that-
giving you the pure accuracy,
number,
but
yeah.
I mean, it's still going to give you a reference. I mean, if you know that,
Yeah.
if it's coming out at 215 and they're all yellow,
Yeah.
then you know they're starving. But if it comes in at 900, you know you're hot.
So you got a consistent number that you can match up to a happy plant.
Yeah.
And if it starts dropping or raising, then we know what's going on.
And then have your own chart that you're grafting or referencing back to. The downfall of the slurry test is that it's not scientific on every farm because water quality is totally different from city to city, state to state. So there's no like perfect do it at 0 parts per million because even then you're still not getting that ion exchange because there's no ionic value to RO water. I mean, you've killed the water, so it's not reacting to the shit in the soil. So to me, I'm still using the slurries as a base reference. I know what my water reference start is, and I know over time that if my plants are doing this and my numbers are doing this, I can kind of match up. This is what my plants look like when I have a slurry number that does this. And when you ask me about your problems, I laugh at you and I go, ha, get a psychiatrist. No. When customers reach out for questions about slurries. They tell me their slurry number. I usually will ask them, what's your water source? What was the parts per million that you started with? And then I just get a reference and I look at their pictures and I see, okay, well, from all these numbers, this is what I see. And we get to the solution of you're excess or too much or you're too little.
These are clues.
They're totally clues. And we're hobbyists. And you
Yeah.
know what? The scientific weed is garbage anyway.
Yeah.
So it's a good question. It's tough. And it's definitely like the online battle of the century is the right way to take a slurry test. It's a reference point. If it comes out at 900 with this water, you're probably overfeeding and you can see it.
Yeah.
If it's at 200, they're starving and you'll see it.
Well, it seems like, too, that the consistency of the slurry test is more about us being able to have a conversation about it among different grows.
Well,
as opposed to that if we make what works for you, you're good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the hardest part is what works for you, what works for your grow, your environment. And really, if it comes back acidic or comes back neutral, that's the majority of the problem. If we take this same lab and this same water and we set it to 100 labs, we're not getting the same exact pH value out of all the labs.
You crap on your meter when 2 labs
I have 6 meters, I'll have 6 different reference points.
But you could also have 6 labs that should have.
We have and we do.
Yeah,
and it sucks because you're like, which one of these is right? So
None
out of
of
our 6 meters and those 6 labs, this one meets this standard, that one meets that standard, but none of them meet each other.
Yeah.
So it's all hearsay. We're guessing. The second part of that question was actual ppm in the soil. Also, I feed the water slurry at 6.4. My slurry test to get the actual ppm in the soil. Also, I feed and water and slurry at 6. So I'm guessing then he takes this water, drops it to 6.4.
Yeah. ppm. The soil
comes out at 6.8. How long until the Hades down starts changing the pH in the soil?
Test it come. Oh.
Well, so
he's not getting any results out of his Hades. He's
not getting it out of. He's getting it for correcting the water. He's not getting it for
correcting the soil.
Well, so Hades is phosphoric acid based with the other acids in it. It's to react immediately and then stabilize. And so when it reacts in the water solution, it's done.
Different situation than with the Olympus that kind of is in your soil, kind of buffering soil. This is
Hades is pure liquid, so there's no flex, nothing's left behind to slowly buffer the other way. Now, if you need to drop your pH in your soil, like in this situation, doing a Gaia feeding at 5.9.
Okay.
So take a couple tablespoons of Gaia to that water, and probably take an ounce per gallon to get it below 6.2. There's a lot of organic acids built up in Gaia. When you water that in as a food at 5.9 and don't let it run out the bottom, it's going to saturate that top level and buffer out that alkalinity and with those organic acids, and it's going to reduce that pH of the slurry way more because it has residual acidic properties versus Hades. That's a reactive acid that's done on the reaction point.
What about, good answer, what about this is Gummy talking, doing your Herculean flush at a little lower pH?
Well, that's it. Take a tablespoon of Herc and a tablespoon of Gaia and tell me which one's dropping it harder. But when you mix them together, the chemical reaction there, the Gaia becomes less acidic, but when you're by itself, Gaia is very acidic. It just reacts with all this stuff.
I gotcha. So that's why you'd say Gaia over the Herc in this situation.
Yeah, in this one situation with a high pH soil that you're trying to drop it over time, Hades is only going to drop the water, not the soil, but Gaia will drop the soil. Because it's going to sit there residually and then bond and slowly bust that alkalinity to keep it from climbing, and then the microbes will keep breaking that excess down and releasing that acid.
What about doing an actual tea? Is that going to help with that?
It will help getting more in there, but when you start at that point, you're starting high and you need to come down. So I'd start dropping it down and then adding more microbes to keep it down.
So, and if you were, you would add more you fix this right now, but you would try to richen up your microbial life to get more of this going on.
Yeah, because sartane is just soluble and your microbes are not converting it into an organic acid or an enzyme yet.
In that case, would an actual tea be more effective than a cultured or a microbe life photoplus kind of thing?
Well, it'll be faster because you're brewing the life, so it's a billion going in living, where cultured you're putting in spores, you're waiting them to germinate and colonize.
So having the worm castings or the peat or those sorts of things in the soil, do those, I mean,
well, yeah,
if you got more dead stuff in your soil, that's not going to fix it right away.
No.
But going microbial life going would help with this problem chronically if you had.
Yeah,
I think we talked about that earlier. Yeah. But you would use the Gaia to get that number down quicker than instead of using.
Well, from what he's showing me, 6.4 and it comes back at 6.8. That means that something in this water has a limestone to it that's literally releasing alkalinity. So I'd be curious on what the water source is. Calcium really gives you the high ppm. Iron will give you a higher ppm and the high pH. But if he has 6.4 going in and it comes out at 6.8, there's a limestone or some form of calcium that's releasing during that slurry test that's making it higher and higher.
Okay. Family Outcast. Hello. Was wondering when and if I can add the photosynthesis plus. I have a sample pack for Microbe Life Hydroponics and the sample pack Nectar for the Gods. And thanks, just got both, and thanks for the great work. So he got just the Photo Plus, you think, or he got the whole? He got the whole kit thing. Yeah. So now the one of those, which one? The Nourish is actually a humic, but the other three are basically the same thing in slightly different concentrations.
Well, and was it Burke who was out, or was it a Carl video where they talked about, and it was in Green Room Live.
Yeah.
But like using the fruit enhancer for 2 weeks at the early stage of bloom, and then shutting it down and going to Photo Plus for the second half of bloom, using Photo Plus in the later half of veg, but using their.
There is a video about that, and I've talked to them where they've told me that, but I've also talked to Burke where he says like, just use the Photo Plus.
Well, yeah, but he's got them all.
Yeah.
And I really think the guys that have dialed it in where they use it, because I know farms that run it. Yeah, because you're putting these microbes in for specific time frames of the plant's nutritional needs. So go back. Bob's going to put down here.
I'm going to try.
Right here.
Yeah, a link to that video.
This guy.
Oh, now I have to.
Yeah, done and done.
Right.
But there's a link to one of those where he discusses the breakdown, and that way that sample kit will last you like 2 or 3 runs because you're using 3 of those products very randomly in the Photo Plus quite frequently.
Yeah.
Photo Plus, like you said, I mean, they've all said it, the owners have said it. For us, for nutrient cycling, all the products are the same with Photo Plus in it. Some would just tweak with different types of levels.
Except for the Nourish.
So, I mean, that's just Zeus with microbes in it. So.
Okay. See, good answer. That was a quick one. Because I got like 100 more questions here.
No, we have 3 more.
3 more.
And then we have 100 more for episode 2.
Well, it's really picked up with the questions. You saw, I mean, they're good.
They're
good. It seems like the quality and the quantity is picked up.
Yeah, we stopped doing the show for a while because the questions just became dumb.
That's what happens, I guess.
No, they were dumb. We were just busy.
Well, yeah, no, and it's a dumb question to you. It's never a dumb question if they don't know.
Well, it becomes dumb when we've said it on every show.
That's
then
true.
It's like, like, go to the last show, watch it, because it was there.
Look both ways before you cross the street is excellent advice, but probably overdone.
We'll create a law to make sure that we protect you, and we'll arrest the guy that runs you over because you didn't look down the wrong way. I like that saying. I'm still the guy that looks both ways on a one-way street because that's how much I trust you.
Yeah.
Why are you looking left? Have you seen this? Yeah, not even that. Yeah. I don't trust people.
I don't trust them.
Not
I don't know what's going to happen. They're just on their phone going down the road.
Yeah, because of these, I look always.
Hypogrow STL. I'm sorry. I walked over you talking.
Not really.
I'm an interrupter. I'm pushy too. Been told I'm pushy. We can talk about that another time.
Oh yeah, that's
long
again.
Topic.
That's for your psychologist.
Hey Bob. You see that cartoon where he's drawing the bird. Cuckoo. It's like, oh god. Yeah. Hey Bob, where can a guy like me get some Nectar for the Gods merchandise in the middle of America? The heartland, God's country, flyover country. Some people say, but not me. I think it's a beautiful place.
Those are the people that feed the rest
Wide
of these
open
morons.
spaces. Hoodies, hats, t-shirts. You can also check out my Nectar Grow. Hypo Grow STL. Hypo Grow, I'm going to spell it HYPOGROW STL on YouTube.
Oh, so he's a St. Louis guy.
Yeah. Oh, that's the STL, of course, St. Louis. Love the products. Love the channel. I'm done using salts. So merch. OCGFAM551. The one place, the only place to get merch as of...
Yeah, well, right now you can probably get the last bit of clearance out of nectarmerch.com.
Oh, well, that's the last chance to get those label shirts that are never coming again. It had the
this is these.
I had a Herc one, I think. There was a Herc one, right?
Yeah,
I can't find it.
Medusa and Zeus.
Can't find it.
I like them.
Yeah, they're cool.
But yeah, you can get them there, and then we are developing. We're just not a marketing company. Most of this industry is marketing.
Fashion.
We're not.
Fashion brands.
Yeah, so we're getting ready to put out some new stuff. But OCGFAM.com. Or you can check with your local store since you're in. If you're in Missouri, that's a big state that's really going off the charts. Email me your local store, see who it is. If they're a big Nectar partner of ours, they usually can get access to gear for their customers.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, order online, you can add it to a cart.
That's the way to do it.
And we're going to start releasing kind of unique stuff just for OCG fam that will be, you have to order to get it, but we'll see. We just got to get the design going.
Huh? You should get a Heffalump. Heffalump Plus. It's going to be our new product. Heffalump Plus.
What's that?
It's a new product. They don't have a Heffalump on there.
What's that?
And you'd be like, my Heffalump.
Is that like a homunculus?
Homunculus. That's the awesomest word ever.
Well, they're like little short, dwarfy people that are super hairy, or homunculus. What's a heffalump? Is that like a snuffleupagus meets rhinoceros hippopotamus?
Yes. Well, they were alive on Earth until
they're actual
about
thing.
1,000. No. I'm making fun of Mammoth Pete. Because they're actually good at that. I mean, the fashion thing, they got that down.
Well, they do have the flat belt stuff
hats.
going.
Yeah.
They must have had a factory in China they took over for those because they made a lot of hats.
Can you imagine?
No. Again, we're not a marketing company.
Not our thing.
We're a nutrition company.
Yeah. Raz or Ross or Ras?
Ross.
King.
Ross
King.
It's like Ross Attitude. He's probably a redhead.
Yeah. Okay, it all makes sense now. Greetings, Bob and Scott. Or Scott and Bob. Either way.
He said Bob and Scott.
Yeah.
He knows where his priorities are.
Just want to thank Scott. See? You're the one getting it done. I'm the one just
Reporting
you live from Nectar headquarters. Just want to thank Scott for helping me in my transition from the number 4 Nectar soil. This is a good one. I don't even know what the question is, but I know it's going to be good. He switched from number 4 to number 2, the cocoa coir blend. Fingers crossed, but no fungus gnat issues since switching. My question is about using compost teas in cocoa. Now, I'm going to slow down for a second. Do you get the fungus gnats with the cocoa? Is that because it's not draining good enough, or what's the deal there?
You mean in the number 4?
Well, he said he switched to number 2. He's worried he's going to get fungus gnats with the number 2. He should be.
Probably he got some number 4 from a store that parked number 4 next to Roots or Fox Farm. We got some fungus gnats. Then he had fungus gnats, so he went to. Cocoa is not a good house for fungus gnats.
No, because
they like decay and rot. And peat moss, a lot of times, like Canadian peat moss will often have beds of ancient fungal gnats that form because they're just being revitalized with air.
Oh, that's where you get the superflu from. They've been down there
from bats and shit, and they eat rodents out of the fucking street.
Oh.
That's superflu. This is where you just get prehistoric fungus bodies that have been decayers for thousands of years.
So these are like prehistoric beings that are coming to life in your growth.
This is Jurassic Park, like the amber with the mosquito and the dinosaur blood in it.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah, we totally just destroyed that one. So you went from 4 to number 2. Are you worried about
My
Fungus
question. Well,
gnats.
my question. That's not worried about the fungus gnats. He's just hoping for the best
Oh,
on that.
gotcha.
My question is about using compost teas and cocoa. Since I've switched to cocoa, I let the medium dry out more as opposed to the soil. Am I wasting my time by brewing my compost teas, worm castings, Malibu compost, azomite, alfalfa, meal, and bokashi in my usual recipe? When using cocoa, does it make more sense to use an instant tea like cultured biologics since I'm not trying to create living soil with the cocoa?
Well, you are. I mean, just because cocoa is an inert medium, it still will house and happily keep living all your organisms. So more the better. You're not harming anything by adding your compost teas to that. I would stick with the recipe you like because it's active, you're growing it. If you want to cheat and get through a couple feedings without having to brew up a whole batch, easy teas are awesome for that reason, but you're not wasting the cocoa, and you're not drying out. I guarantee it. You're not drying out to a point where you're killing the microbes because the plants would also be dried out. I mean, you'd be going from flat limp to full hydration. So as long as you have a 10 to 15% moisture content in that cocoa, which you will, because cocoa does not let go of water very easy, you got life. They'll be fine.
So the cocoa drains well, but does not lose the moisture in the thing. It's
It
best
really
of both worlds
takes a
kind of
lot.
situation.
No, that's it. We found that, I mean, we had to get a special press just to get rid of water. We've tried steam rollers, we've tried hydraulic presses, we've tried everything, and cocoa it lets it go, but sucks it right back in and won't let it go. So we found we use an orange juice, like a giant industrial orange juice press, to get rid of our water, completely separate it away, and then the medium drops out beyond that, so it never can rehydrate from that. But we get it down to about 15%.
Working at it.
Oh, and that's like with a $100,000 machine to get it there. But it's the only machine that doesn't degrade the pit. So our
Right.
cocoa
Still
pit
got
is
the structure.
actually grainy. It has hair. I mean, it's not. Most people just chip it, so they shred all of the texture, and you end up with the fine cocoa dust. That stuff's miserable to work with. Ours is
Mud
grainy.
kind of thing, because it
Well, it rehydrates to literally a slurry paste.
doesn't
So.
sound like good at all.
No. So yeah, no, I would add the microbes. It's only going to make your plants healthier, happier, and more importantly, as you're feeding them any type of nectar bottles, anything that's not absorbed is adhering to that cocoa. So now you got this secondary feeding for the microbes to work on. So even though you think you're soilless, by adding the microbes and nutrients to that and creating those bonds, all of that's going to just create another nutrient cycle.
Well, why wouldn't I just use cocoa? I'm starting from scratch.
Because you have no backup. So unless you really know what this plant really wants all the time, you are guessing.
Okay, then let me ask you this.
Like
then.
a new grower, I highly encourage not to.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Huh?
Okay, so if I was using cocoa, and I know my shit, I'm a live guy, I'm doing my thing, but I'm going to go to a totally different genetic or something of that nature, would you go back to soil till you kind of got the feel for it, or if you're pretty sharp, would you still just stay with the cocoa?
Depends how big your ego is. Because a
I
lot of
don't
guys will
know.
just go straight into it and try it out and then learn. So I mean, if you don't kill shit, you're not learning. So
So you would say that safer bet would be to use this soil.
oh, for sure.
But
Well, let's say this is the only cutting from this one guy that's about to die, and you have his last thing. I would go for the thing you know is safe and is going to be the best for you.
But if you're willing to ride the razor's edge, you're going to learn more by using the cocoa.
Always failure teaches. So I mean, and chances are you'll do just fine.
But yeah.
If you're brand new and you're going to start your first grow and you got your brand new LED and you have no idea what you're doing, don't go with cocoa to get out of the gate because you have no reserves in cocoa. You have to understand plant nutrition or trust the labels that you're reading, which that's scary all on its own. So yeah, cocoa's great, but you really have to know what to look for in the plant to know what it needs before it needs it. Because a lot of times what people don't understand, when you start seeing the signs, it started weeks ago, and now you're getting the end result.
And you're trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
Late to the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Good answer. Good answer. I'm learning stuff here. I'm gonna have to throw some stuff pretty quick here.
I
So.
just taught myself something.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, you're gonna learn something from this because this is a long question from Ben Calaruso, probably an Italian fella. No.
Now we're just assuming.
I'm just assuming.
That's trouble.
I'm 55.
He's Italian. Because of that. I mean, that's old school.
55, all right?
Yeah.
What do you want?
I'm not that 20-year-old Italian.
So I grow a lot of vegetables and very vital nutrient herbs. I will be experimenting with some shrubs this year. I own is that shrubs or shrubs? Actual shrubs. I own a couple of greenhouses and quite a bit of property on a hill. So sunlight's just nailing it. I'm very curious how this lineup will do with raspberry bushes as well as blueberry bushes. And in the winter, I can transfer them into the greenhouse, which is a 16 by 7 2-ply.
Yeah.
Monticello or Monticello? Which one do you go with?
Greenhouse.
All right. I extended my cannabis grow. Should we stop and go with this part, or do you want to keep going?
I think it's all
Okay, it's all one thing. I extended my cannabis grow until November 19th last year. Of course, I had a 1500 watt heater in there with a Mars Hydro TW2000.
LED.
So far, stuff's doing very well. I'm getting some really good results with my indoor. Of course, I'm in a legal state. Of course. People don't do this where you can't do it, right?
Well, it would be illegal.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
I mean,
No, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean.
Get hauled off.
Yeah.
Speaking of that. No, I don't want to talk about
Not
that.
going there.
No. Well, I had to pick someone up once that got a drunk driving ticket. They're like, hey, can you come get me? I'm like, it's 4 in the morning. And they're like, I'm like, all right. So I go down there, and I go walking in. It's like this whole scary place, the jail place there, you know?
Yeah.
And I go walking in, and I see this cop at the counter, and I'm like, hey. And you know what he does? Hey. Super friendly. And then I'm like, I got to pick up X. And he's like, oh, yeah. Hold on. He goes away for a while. Then he comes back, and he's like, 5 minutes. Okay. And then another cop comes out with my friend X, and I look up at him, I kind of like, hey. And the cop goes, hey. Super friendly guys. Just doing a job.
Eugene cops say, hey.
Yeah. Hey.
So is it
Anyway.
fun?
Just that the cops were super friendly and just doing their job, even though they were dealing with my friend who endangered our community.
There's some good
Good
cops.
people. Yeah.
There's some shitty ones, but
There are. Well, it's like with any
I was just saying,
anything.
I don't label them just because
No.
I'll tell you one thing: when the motherfuckers break into my house and I need somebody to go away and I can't shoot them, then I'd like to have a policeman there.
Well, yeah.
But you just don't break into my house. That
Would be bad. I'm not going to break into your house because
Nobody
you have,
should do that.
you have, you're capably violent.
with a smile.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm capably violent. I'm consciously violent.
Of course, I'm in a legal state. It's been that way since 2017. I will be adding an SP250 in there from 6 a.m. till midnight, till the sunlight hits peak hours. I'm hoping to get at least 5 yields this year. I grew Bruce Banner Strawberry Cough Gelato, that's a seriously long name, last year. They got 2 big, is that a bunch of different things? Bruce Banner, Strawberry Cough, and Gelato? Is that 3 different blends, or is that all one thing?
Sounds like a cross.
Yeah. Oh, it's a cross. Okay. Oh boy.
So
They got
too big.
2 big sticking with autos. They
It's
got
gonna be
2
sticking with
big
autos.
sticking with autos. I gotcha. Couple of photos of doing a White Widow called White Cookie Strain. I'm not a good reader. Will be cloning and doing some of these for another greenhouse. I will be purchasing quite a bit of this nutrient, especially the base. Absolutely great stuff. I haven't got better results with anything else. My clones indoors are just going nuts in the past 2 weeks, as well as the auto. Great stuff. So the question was up at the top here.
Oh, yes it was.
Yeah. Blueberries.
Some blueberries and raspberries. Yeah, it works great for those. I usually stick with during the growth of blueberries and raspberries, a once a week feeding with the base. Once I see fruit, I'll add in the Aphrodites, maybe Persephones, depending on how sweet you want the berries to get. Amino acids are great for both of them. Humic acids are great for both of them. So Zeus, Athenas, they both work great to keep them producing and flowering, and yeah, not going to go wrong.
Feels like we kind of pooched that last question.
Well, it was a half a novel.
Well, no, it was. Yeah, it was nice. It's just
No,
nice talking.
there's nothing wrong, but
Yeah.
no.
Hey, Bob. And this does. You didn't get the name on this one. You didn't.
I don't even know if that's supposed to be on there. Maybe you should read that one quietly. Oh.
He wants to send you some
Oh
stuff.
man.
Send us some stuff.
We need to find out who that was. It says coffee.
Oh, I'll find it back to things. It says, hey, Bob, I want to send you guys some bags of coffee from the roastery. I help out in appreciation for all you guys do. How do we make it happen?
Well, you send it care of Scott. Bob doesn't drink coffee. He drinks chocolate milk with caffeine in it. I, however, drink coffee.
Yeah, I don't like good coffee.
No, not many people do.
Or good beer.
I don't buy coffee when I go out because most people can't make good coffee.
I can't make good
You spend
coffee.
the money, you have to teach the barista how to do it the right way. It's embarrassing for everybody.
Yeah.
Michigan's going crazy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just went there, Grand Rapids.
You did a personal appearance.
I did.
Did people come out?
I was busy.
Did they say anything about me?
No. Well, one guy was like, did you do a background check for Predator for Bob yet? And I'm like, yeah, we just keep that under the rug.
Yeah, I'm more of a credit risk than a credit risk.
I think it's kind of a coin toss, really.
No, I'm not dangerous in any way.
No, just mentally.
Yeah.
Which can be dangerous, but no, yeah, they asked about Bob.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a good showing. If you're in Grand Rapids, I gotta say, I mean, that Horizon Hydroponics,
Nice place.
they are just the one I went to, the Grand Rapids store, not the outlet store. And the Growers Outlet's huge. I mean, it's like
like a series.
well, it's their hub to
Uh-huh.
feed all the Horizon stores and a couple other retailers. They make their own Zen line, it's called.
Uh-huh.
It's a mineral salt based, but they make some neat products in that for their line. Great owners, very involved owners, very huge community people. I mean, they do like a harvest fest every year where they get the farming community together and they do a huge food drop where they just people bring. I mean, God, I think there's like 4 to 5 tons of food that they and all fresh. So just a neat group of people. And what I found unique, so I was at the Horizon store, great customers, all from all over Michigan came over. I mean, people from up north, Traverse City, Kalamazoo, some guys all the way down in Saugatuck came up. Just a very hungry knowledge community waiting for more, very receptive to learning, talked to a lot of great customers there. Then other stores managers started showing up. So, GrowCo, which is another prominent store in Grand Rapids that a lot of my customers go to. And, they have a store in Michigan Street. Got to meet the manager of that store. Great woman. Great family. Her husband runs Nectar. They run Nectar. GrowCo sells a lot of Nectar. It was just neat to see this community. Like locally here, none of the stores will even talk to each other. Matter of fact, they turn each other in like assholes.
Yeah, it's adversarial in some way. This feels kind of,
Now it's dirty. It feels like it's one porn shop or the next.
Yeah.
And there it was interesting because the managers of all the stores were all communicating together, and there wasn't this competition piece. So, kudos to the Grand Rapids crew for I don't know. I was impressed to see the people that work there didn't have a pissing match. They send each other customers when they're out of things. It was neat. So
good intention.
that was great. I love going back to Grand Rapids for that. I always want to try to make time to one of these locations. Horizon's gotten most of my attention lately. They buy so much of our products, so
hard not to.
It's really hard not to give them the extra love. GrowCo's definitely, they've revamped a few things. They've talked to their management. Always been a favorite store of mine. GrowCo is the first store in Michigan to pick up Nectar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy that came out was Scott Zamorelli, I believe, or Z.
Italian fella?
No, he's a big old white kid with long hair, hippie. But he just came by on his way to a trade show 12 years ago, I'd say. Toured the facility back when we were making everything in the little tiny red building. Small little vats.
Part of the red building or the whole thing?
Oh, just the half. Yeah. So he got to see it, and then he's like, I want to bring this back to Michigan to the store I manage. So they were literally the first ones to pick up the line. And in Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan. Yeah.
And have carried it ever since. I'm big fans. And then, Emerald Nutrients came in, started giving all their employees free product to run, and then a couple of their employees got a little douchey and started being little bitches, and So, I love relationships, I love community, but you pee on me, I just walk away from you. I'm not going to fight you or stab you or shoot you in the face, I just walk. But I'd go find a relationship,
Yeah, there's always more people out there you can...
Well, go to where you're appreciated. If you're not liking what you're...
You can't change people's minds.
Well,
Or just even try.
No, and I won't. I'm not a sales guy, and it really comes down to we have enough customers that really enjoy what we do and what we're saying and, how we're educating. I think that's what we need. We don't need this. We don't need the drama that the rest of the industry brings. And so, I feel bad about the GrowCo situation in the past. I know that moving forward, now that they have new management and a new team, we'll see what happens from it. I can tell you the woman I met, super awesome.
Yeah,
Her husband was super awesome, super great people. Their client base all came over with them to learn. So it was a neat,
felt good.
Neat day. It was a freaking long day. It was 10 hours of just talking.
It's tiring.
It's tiring.
You don't realize till you get done.
Revitalizing.
I
mean, you feel like you're on drugs at the end of the day because you just had so much talk and so much energy. So, you were asked about a lot. Michigan loves Bob. They all ask me why I don't bring you with me, and I just tell them because we like Bob. Bob goes with me, then Bob would die.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good. We couldn't. No road trips.
No, it'd be dangerous.
Tension would build.
I don't even think that. I think we'd both become alcoholics quicker.
Oh, that too. Yeah, we have a propensity to that.
Oh yeah, no, together, it would be bad. It'd just be a bad scene. And I need Bob here to hold down the shit. Bob puts out too many pieces in a week for us, and he's spending all this time finding the old pieces to bring back to remind us about the pieces. So, we're just looking forward to what's happening next. But I just wanted the GrowCo and Horizon shout out and the folks back in Michigan. We'll see what happens. Maybe the east side of the state will learn how to grow like the west side of the state. I'm just kidding. I'm sure there's some good growers out there.
Somewhere out there.
Somewhere. So far, Michigan's got a pretty interesting thing going on, and we'll see what happens. But it's been an interesting few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the show. Let me go turn it on.
Probably should.
I'll be right back.
Now it's over.
The OCG Fam Show. It's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCG Fam Show. See you tomorrow.